Hey YouTube subscribers, do you remember when I used this yarn to test knit for Low Rain Knitwear's cable pullover? Well, that was depressing. Reminder, it didn't work out. So enjoy this journey of what it becomes. Hello friends. It's definitely daylight here, but it's ridiculously hot, so I have everything shut closed, cranking the AC. But I'm feeling the urge to cast on a new project. And what's fun about this project is that it's going to be for fun. I just want it. And I've had the pattern for a while. So it is let's see, I don't really have like a final photo per se, but the wing sweater, I believe is what it's called. Wings sweater by Namaste and Crochet. And so it's knit on the middle where the cable is, and then it's crochet to piece together and like the edges and stuff. I was looking, and I mean, it uses really large hooks and needles. The needle suggested is a 12 millimeter US 17. Y'all, I don't think I have that. I think the biggest needles I have are straight needles, and it is a US 15, or no, it's 15 millimeters. I don't know what US. I don't understand why it has to be so different anyways. When we're going to talk about needle sizes, like why does it have to be like a US number plus a millimeter number? That's why like I try to reference everything in millimeters as far as like hook size or needle size, because I feel like there's a lot of confusion within letters and then like the number designated to the number size needle. Like, anyway, obviously have feelings there. Besides the point, I don't think I have that. So the most in-between needles I could find, these are also straight needles, and there's no label on them. I tried checking the size with like, yeah, I'm like trying to double check. I like see no etching or anything to label. I lied. There is some etching. It does. This says US 17 12.75 millimeter. I was really freaking close to guessing that these would work. That's so crazy. Okay, cool. Well, I'm definitely going to go with these. It's close enough. Like, otherwise, I only have like 10 millimeters. That's the next lowest that I have. And then I have like one higher. But I did try putting this in like a gauge ruler needle size checker thing, and the ones that I have like said that these weren't 12 millimeter, and they're not, because they're a little bit bigger. What did I say? Yeah, 0.75 bigger. So it's fine. Well, this is the thing too. So I was testing a sweater, which I've already completed, but I used a different yarn, and it wasn't working with this yarn. So this is the panel that I was working on, but I already have all the yarns caked up, and I don't want to unwind the cakes, and cakes technically should not stay as cakes for long periods of time if you're not going to use them. I do have some yarn in my stash that's already been caked and waiting to be used, but it can change the weight of your yarn if it stays in that state. It can also weaken the strands. Yeah, this is what they say, but whatever. I'm sure working on like frogging projects and working off of those projects also can weaken your yarn, and I've done that many times. Rule breaker here. Anyway, this is just for fun project, like I said. And then so the crochet hook that's recommended is a 9 millimeter US 13M. So I have a 9 millimeter. I think this is my only 9 millimeter, and it's a London K hook. Oh, I am just dropping and throwing everything. Okay, so it has like this nice little curve to put your hand in. I'm excited about that. I did pack like an 8mm in there just in case, but I'm thinking this is like an Aran weight, and I'm thinking about doubling up the yarn because this yarn suggestion is for bulky, but from what I've looked up, it says like doubled Aran weight makes a super bulky. So I don't know if this is going to be great for me to be using 7.5mm larger needles. I'm really going to have to be conscious about my tension, but also like the sizes are so she's only got them offered extra small to extra large. Bust measurements 34 to 42. So I would say I am, well, does she even say? I'm not quite sure if she doesn't have like a whole lot of notes here. So this has got to be probably one of her earlier patterns. Like the gauge section doesn't even say like what stitches to be using to figure out the gauge. It gives you like the 4x4 and stitch by row numbers, but it doesn't say what stitches need to be done for those gauges. So I guess I can check it after I get working through some stuff, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to be worried about it. I think I'm just going to make probably maybe the small size. I feel like the small is actually me. Like, I feel like the extra small is the traditional small size now, and the small seems more like fitting for a medium. So because like I'm 36 bust now, and I've found that has me falling into a medium often now. So I don't know whether I should do extra small or small, knowing that mine might end up a little larger. I don't know. She has estimated yardage of like 600 to 800 yards here. I mathed all mine, doubling it up. Oh, I didn't think about that. Because I think mine is like 900 something, and if I'm going to double it up, that might be an issue on yardage for me. I'm also using, I didn't say, I'm making this a very long start of a video. This is the yarn I'm using. It is Classic Elite Yarns Boda. I don't know how to pronounce it really, but it is 68% cotton, 12% linen, 9% acetate, and 11% polyester. And there is 158 yards in each. So I might have to do like a different type of crochet border. Like I might bring in like black or something as a different edging. I don't know. This part is definitely going to make the cable part, I think. I'm just going to go with it. We're going to go with the flow. We might have to modify some things and change things up and get a little creative. I feel like doing this sort of thing for fun project can help juices flow and be like a nice little palette cleanser. So I just literally designed a cowl like all in one day, like this morning, and now it needs to be blocked before seaming and adding other extra bonuses to it. So I have this yarn set out, and I am going to the races tonight, so I need like a project to have with me. I can't go anywhere without a project, so that's why I'm like, well, I'm just gonna start this now. All right, I'll stop chatting and I'll follow back up, and we'll see where things evolve. I really feel like these are like drumsticks. Like I could play the drums. I keep like clicking them together and I do find them to be cumbersome to work with. I also feel like a legitimate granny working with these, especially in public. I don't feel like it's nearly the same as like working with circulars. Like, I feel like this is the epitome of what people would think old lady knitting is like. And to do the cables on these too is kind of hard. Like, I'm just not used to working with bulky yarns and bulky needles and stuff. But the fabric is creating. I've got like a couple more cables I think to do. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fairly quick palette cleanser, and I think I'm going to like the results. The drape seems to be like lovely. It's weird, like the way this fabric looks, it's weird with the twists and turns because of the cables, but I think once I add like the border, it's going to make more sense. I hope I'm not doing it wrong. There was something else I wanted to say. Can't think of it. And I thought I would record now while I remember too. That's so funny. I got to stitch in and instantly remembered what it was. So with how thick these are, it makes me have to resort to throwing, aka knitting English style. And thankfully I feel like I've got enough experience to really understand that, but initially I couldn't really knit unless I did it continental style. I don't know if this like affects or helps my tension in any way, but it's interesting. Okay, we just got home from having a dinner, and I feel like I better like come on and tell y'all my updates from all the work I've done today before my husband gets back in here. And the dogs, I just let them out to go potty, so they are freaking rambunctious out there. So I feel like, oh man, guys, like, okay, let's look at this. I feel like the cables are not right, but I finished the whole first panel, but there's no like, what's going on? There's no cable. Like the whole time she just says like the stitches are held in the back. So I feel, I'm wondering if I need to, I don't know. I might just put the project to the side because I need to start designing some stuff. And I think that the cable, the way it's written while I'm doing it, is wrong. Like it needs to switch back and forth. I keep cutting my head off. And this is second panel. Doing the same. Okay, update. I've got 2 panels and they both are not going to have real cable actions on them. It is what it is. I don't think it's going to take too much away. I mean, it would be cool, but whatever. I only have this much yarn left though, and I've got to do the neckline and like 4 rows of a body. So I don't think that's going to be enough. I might have to incorporate like some black cotton or something. I think that might be, I don't know. I've got to look and see what I have. I could, I don't know. Because this does have some black in it, so I think it'd be cool. I also wanted to add that in between like some of these sections with the repeats, I definitely have like different stitch or row counts. But basically you have to like skip some stitches before like stitching into these. So I just changed up the skips in between. So the stitches at the end when I'm gonna like attach for the shoulders and the, like to make the actual sleeve parts, like all that's gonna match. It's gonna be fine. That's another thing that's cool about making for fun. Like I can adapt as I go along on that instead of having to frog and restart, and like perfection doesn't have to be a thing. I slept funny and I have a crick in my neck, but so I don't exactly want to show this to you, but I feel like I have to share. I hate it. I hate it. I obviously ran out of yarn, so I threw in some black, which I don't mind that part, but it was so hard to put on because the bottom felt so tight. Oh my God, my neck. And it still kind of feels a bit tight, but yeah, so there's that. So I flared it out, which isn't terrible, but I feel like it's just a bag. Like, I don't feel like it's that flattering of a wear on me. And I don't know, oh, my neck, I can't even see. I don't know, like, when I would wear it. And I hate that the cables, I mean, that doesn't look horrible, but it's not, and it had to be me, because when I look at the project page, like, everybody has the cable right. I don't understand. I feel like I've followed the instructions. I've done cables before, but she does, like, normally you do them like front, back, like switching to get them to, but it just said on the back every time. Maybe I'm supposed to twist it when I put these stitches in. I don't know, but I'm over it. I don't think I'd ever wear it. So, but I made it. That was fun. And it was quick. But I think I'm gonna frog it. And this yarn is gonna be a third thing. Like, this yarn is just being difficult for me. So I think I'm gonna make Lovely by Lee's Red Rock skirt. Ooh. And I want to make the tie tank with it. I don't know if there'll be enough of this yarn for it, but because I don't know how long I'm going to make the skirt, or what. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about it all, but I'm going to frog this. To be clear, I haven't really made much update, and it's been quite some time because I've been working on my own design in the background, and today we're going to be going back to the racetrack, hence the look. But I mean, it is seriously 112 degrees here. That should be illegal. Climate change is real. Anyways, this is all the progress I've made. So I don't know, I think I got like a couple more rounds to do based off of what she said in the pattern, but I'm gonna go with the thickness of my band here, like double the thickness of my band here to make sure my band fits in there. And then, yeah, I don't exactly know where I want it to sit on me, but I did like wrap mine around basically where my belly button is. So I don't know if that's where it's going to be. I feel like in the future I could tighten it if I want to, but I really, you know, I didn't swatch, so I really don't know like what is going to happen with how big this skirt is going to be, especially since I made it with cotton. It's an experience. Look, I'm more of a what's it called? Like actually making the project versus like the finished item. I get more excited out of like the actual making process. So yeah. Did I tell y'all I'm using my Lickin' needles because I didn't want to, like I have my ChiaoGoo's using on other stuff, and so I didn't, and I don't really use these very often, and I really think maybe it's a good one to use with the cotton. Things are flowing well, so I feel like this is like a chill project, and I could just work on it socially, so I don't have to worry about it having to get off the needles since I don't use these needles very often. Interchangeable sets and having backup sets is fantastic. Fully recommend. We just got through having dinner, and I am loading everything up to put away for possible leftovers tomorrow, but I feel like it's my chance right now while they put away the race car and whatever else to tell you an update, because I haven't really gotten a chance to do all that. Okay. I've made progress, as you saw, and I switched to using these Hello Lavender stitch markers, which the very first time I used it, one of the wings broke, so I really try not to use it, but I do love it. So it is what it is. If the other wing breaks, it is what it is. I want to use it. So anyway, it took me the entire race to get the waistband joint, and before like the darkness hit, I had used, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I had seamed my like little waistband, like the elastic together. Well, you know, I didn't make sure that it was all like one straight circle correctly, and so it was twisted. So I had to correct that. I ended up doing that today, but I just kept it on the end area and fixed that today. So that's all great. I realized that I forgot to bring the next size up of needles. Excuse me. So I guess it was good that it had taken me that long to do the fold over waistband thing, but it took me so long because like working with the cotton was hard, and then using like the tips of these Lica needles are not that great. So for me to like, I would have liked to use a crochet hook for that, which my knit kit really did come in handy with its little special tool, like crochet hook on it. That helped me a lot, but it was annoying to have to like pick up and go like, and I didn't use it the whole time, but yeah, I made it work. So I did one round, like I finally got it joined, and then I did one round of the knits, and then by that time, like I was done with races and stuff. So I carried on today, but, and I got to switch to the next needle size, but, the first round of the knits, I just didn't use my like finger guide and let my tension be a little bit looser, so it wasn't as tight as the waistband stitch. I think it blends pretty well. It's fine. I'm happy with how things are going. When I split for the stitches, like split the stitches section, like adding the beginning around markers and these other like sections for the sides and whatever, the shaping that we're going to be adding happens at the markers. When I split for that, I realized that I was off on stitches. I thought I was making the medium size, but I guess I must have not done 10 extra stitches, which ended up giving me like 4 extra stitches instead by going down to the small size. So I basically added those 4, I'm not ripping everything back. Like, so I basically divvied up those 4 extra stitches to count as an increase, and half of the increases for when the increases started. I'm now back on track with the counts, but those stitches I basically counted as that. So hopefully things go work out. Hopefully the fit is okay. Like now that I'm gonna be making a small, yeah. And I forgot to tell y'all like when I did end up finishing straightening all my balls out, because I had to make them from being double to single, since I need the Aran weight, and that's what this is supposed to be. Yeah, so I mean, it's probably better that I'm making the small one because the cotton is going to stretch, I imagine. So I feel like the likelihood of this fitting is going to be better. I don't know. It's all a guessing game because I didn't swatch. Good morning. It's an even more of a skirt. I got all the increasing and decreasing, like the hip shaping done. So I think today I've got to get a little bit of length. I'm going to stick to the pattern. I don't think I'm going to extend any crazy length. Although initially I thought I would. No, I kind of like where it hits, but I think I get too do the slit now. So
I put an extender in. Everything was all fine and dandy. I look down and I'm like tripping over the needle. Why didn't I put the other needle and the stopper on the end? Next thing you know, my freaking stitch marker comes off. And now I'm missing my other flowery yellow lavender. Am I gonna be able to figure this out? I don't know. I don't know if I'll figure out where the beginning of the round is.
and now I look and the other side of the wing broke. And there's no way I'm going to be able to find that. Like, I had the other piece to be able to glue it back on. Tragic. All right, it is dinner time. I gotta go tell the rest of the fam, but I just wanted to let you know I picked up the stitches for the most part, and I found my other flower accent marker, which I love the accent markers even more, so I'm really glad about it. And it was the yellow one, so I'm really glad about it. But now I got to figure out where the beginning of the round is and make sure all my stitches are oriented correctly. Just do the right thing all the time. Why put yourself under this pressure? Finding the beginning of round spot was not near as bad. Pretty sure the skirt is already stretching more than I thought. And I meant to say before that this split part and figuring out the stitch markers and the pattern was pretty confusing at first, but it seems to be working up okay. So I'm liking it. I'm back on track.
This is the moment of truth. Will this fit, do you think? Let's see. Is it cute? Is it cute? It does feel like heavy cotton. I love the slit. So this isn't like super elastic-y like sucking in. So I feel like it gives me room to eat, but I feel like it's supported enough so it's not gonna fall off. That's the idea, right? Okay, I think I'm gonna sneakily like hide my couple ends. I have the end back here and I have this end from binding off. I tuck it into the end, to the kind of casing here. I don't know what's worse, like seaming to create a folded brim or doing like the knitting them together, like on the bind off and this part. They're both really freaking tedious. But as you can tell, I feel like it's worth it for the look.
After several months of having this skirt done and being back into the warmer seasons, I figure I might as well complete this set and finish the top. I quickly remembered how rough it is to work with this yarn, but it did not stop my progress. It reeled me in even more as I worked the stripes. I will say that the pattern doesn't necessarily give you instruction on how to separate stripes, so I was totally risking it with the yardage that I had. You will see here very soon that my results worked up so great that it almost looked intentional. I still have this much yarn, so maybe I can make the racer back. I'd probably have to supplement as well, but I feel like it might really be an alternative and go well with the skirt. This yarn seems to be pretty bulky, but it is still nice and breathable considering for a cotton. I just think it is on the warmer side. I finished the whole thing, and it does actually fit with not gauge swatching and stuff. But I did that without telling y'all. It just happened. I found this location that I felt like I really could get the Red Rocks vibe, so don't pay attention to the burn I got at the lake before. I am so stinking happy that I finally got something I like with this yarn.